Good morning and welcome to another in the series of the pain and pleasure of living a life on purpose. Today I have with me Sarahlee Cobb, who is an inner beauty ambassador and a photographer. Now Sarah is quite an extraordinary profession that she has, bearing in mind her history and fact that the pain that she suffered, you wouldn't think that she'd be one side of the camera lens. So good morning to you, Sarah. How are you?
Good morning, Philippa. I'm good, thank you. A little cold, it is winter, but I shouldn't complain.
Yeah, you look all nicely rugged up and things.
Yeah, I'm much more of a summer person.
Yeah, me too. And incidentally, we both live in Waipu, and I didn't know this until about 6 months ago. So we have to have coffees down near the cove and soak up the sun and the rays and things and the beach down there. It's lovely, isn't it?
It is. I'm really enjoying the small things, especially the sun and the coffee.
Yeah. Now, Sarah, how did you actually get into photography?
My interest was probably peaked when I was a kid at primary school.
Right.
This is a little story where I would read old National Geographic magazines that were just used magazines people were giving away, and I'd actually tear sheets out of photographs that I loved. And I would accumulate these pictures for no reason other than just collecting them and dreaming of being that person who took the photograph in that situation, usually about the wildlife and the people and just the beauty of the world. And so I was picked towards photography as an art form then.
Yeah.
And then when I got to high school, it was actually a subject that I could take. So when I was 16 and 17 in sixth form, seventh form, which is now year 12 and year 13, I did photography, and in that time it was all darkroom based, so we did just black and white film, which was amazing and an eye-opening to the scientific side of photography in terms of calculations and chemicals and that sort of thing. And then when I left high school, I went straight into a diploma of contemporary photography at Unitec. I probably not the smartest thing to do, but I only applied for one tertiary course. Thank gosh I got into it because I had no plan B.
Why do you say not the smartest thing?
Well, I remember sitting there at the interview. We all got interviewed, and only 10% of applicants actually got into the course. So it was quite a strict screening. And one of the questions they asked me was, "What other courses have you applied to?" And the penny dropped when I said none. I was like, "Oh gosh, if I don't get this, I've got nothing else to fall back on. Why didn't I think other options?" And then in hindsight, I guess I never really wanted anything else. So yeah, at that time it was sort of maybe I should have thought things through a bit further, but I got in, and yeah, here I am 10 years later. So
well, it just goes to show, if you've got that passion, it's like, well, nothing else really counts because you're really focused on what you were doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And did you feel that the interviewers actually got that?
I hope so. I think so.
Well, you got through anyway, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think when they were looking through the different interviewees, it was more about the passion and the potential that they had, and not so much the art at the time, because you can learn skills and you can learn the theory behind art, and that's what they were there to teach. So it was just how much passion you conveyed.
Yeah.
And that's something I had.
So what do you think makes the difference between because nowadays we've all got gadgets that we can take our own photographs and things. So, I imagine that it must be quite hard in your profession. So what is it, the difference between, me taking my pictures and you doing it?
Oh, technically it boils down to the same thing. It's still a photograph.
Yeah.
From a professional point of view, I really try and convey quality and customer service. So I, as a professional, in order to make it valuable to my clients, it has to be the highest quality product. It has to be highest quality equipment. I have to give them an incredible experience, as well as them having something that's going to last a lifetime to take home with them. So really have to create something that a layperson couldn't do themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I can see, I mean, I've actually, Sarah's taken my photos, so you'll see them all over the place, and she worked miracles on that one because I'd actually done an all-nighter before I went in.
Oh, you're beautiful though, Philippa. It wasn't hard to
Thank you. So that, I mean, that kind of leads on into the inner beauty, because I mean, a lot of your promotions is the before and after of people. And so but the after is not somebody who's heavily made up. It's still natural, but it's obviously with the technicalities of lighting and things like that, you are able to hone in on a person's personality. And one of the things about your photos is that they're timeless as well. I think classic.
Yeah, that's something I really strive for, because a photograph is a split second in time, and then that split second will last forever. I really work hard, and I try to educate my clients and give them advice beforehand on the best way to create timeless images, the best outfits from their wardrobe to bring in, so that they're not going to look back and go, why did I wear that? What was I thinking?
Right.
Like some people do in certain eras, you know, if a photo was taken in the 70s just by this hairstyle or the outfit. So although we all change, and that's just part of fashions and part of culture, it's about creating something that you will have pride in for many decades and not regret at any point. We don't want regret.
Yeah, you look back at some of those photos and you think, you know, like, well, why did my mother dress me like that, or whatever?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, having a natural look is making sure that the clients or that the people being photographed are comfortable. I'm not going to put someone in heavy makeup and in a full outrageous outfit if that's not them, because they won't be comfortable, and that will show on their expression. So it's a lot of work goes into making people feel comfortable and feel happy, and so that smile is genuine, and giving them the opportunity to be the center of attention, to feel beautiful, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing to embrace that opportunity.
From my own experience, I know when we were doing the photos, as soon as I put my jeans on, I was comfortable, and it made such a difference, because that is just me, you know, putting on a posh outfit. And I know I did one in a dress sort of thing, but that was another aspect of me. But the natural me, who I am, is the casual sort of thing, and it makes a world of difference, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
So why do you call yourself an inner beauty ambassador?
Why do I call it? Because I wanted a point of difference. I mean, to say you're a photographer is such a broad term. Technically, I'm a glamour photographer, but then again, that's not everyone understands that. It's not as easily known, and so it doesn't convey a whole lot of information. When I say I'm an inner beauty ambassador, it's saying that I'm going out there trying to capture the best version of you, the way you want to be seen. So the inner beauty that you want to convey, that doesn't always come through in most photographs. Unfortunately, a lot of photographs out there we don't like of ourselves. Yeah. They're not flattering, or they were taken at the wrong moment, maybe with a mouthful of food or something. snapshots that we don't want to be seen. So having professional portraits taken is really creating a lasting memory of the best version of you.
That's lovely. Yeah.
And putting the clients or the people being photographed in a position where their inner beauty and their personality is allowed to come out. And then really trying to preach that to the masses, I guess. and teaming with different businesses around Northland and around Wongarei, and really trying to promote that to the wider community, both for marketing and for self-confidence of people, and to say, yes, you know, accept yourself as you are.
Yes.
And if you want help believing that you're beautiful now, let me show you.
Right.
Yeah.
So self-confidence, where did the idea of that come to integrate that into your work? Have you always been a confident person yourself?
No. I would hazard to say I'm confident now. I think confidence is very specific to the topic. You can be confident in one action but not in the other.
Right.
And you can be confident in doing your job, but you might not be confident in your appearance. So I think that's really depends on what you're doing at the time or what the confidence is relating to. How I got into wanting to make other people feel confident was I happened to see another photographer working internationally. I saw a behind the scenes video that she did.
Right.
And I said to myself, I want to be that client. I want to have that experience. I want to dress up in beautiful gowns and have wind in my hair, full hair and makeup, and just want to feel incredible. And I also thought, I want to be that photographer at the same time. I want to be able to gift that experience to someone else and to create art that is that gorgeous and that's that beautiful. And so I decided that's the way I was going to go. That was the genre of photography I was going to go down. I did try my hand at everything from landscapes to contemporary art at university, and it was really a moment of exploration just to figure out what one you really wanted to do, where your passion lies. And so I found this, and I've jumped in wholeheartedly and have been doing nothing else since.
So in your journey, what obstacles have you had to come? What sort of this journey of pain that the series is all about? We all go through something that actually really sparks that inner fire inside our belly and inside ourselves, that actually gives us the drive to continue regardless.
Yeah. Well, before I started the business about 3 years ago, I did go through pain. And it is, I think a lot of it's being confronted with your own mortality and realizing life is short. Right. And if you don't do something now, it's too late. So my father actually went through chemotherapy. He was diagnosed with secondary cancer about 4 years ago, and so he went through heavy treatment with chemotherapy, and just watching him go from someone who was strong and more of a rugby player's physique to someone who looked very frail and looked like, I would liken it to a runner, very lean and very weak, and just watching that transformation happen within the space of a month scared me completely, to say the least. So watching him and having supported him through his treatment made me realize that nothing's certain. If you're going to do something, do it now, because you can't guarantee you'll be around to do anything tomorrow.
Yeah.
For myself, I have actually suffered a broken neck in a car accident.
Wow.
So for myself and my own mortality, when I was 4, we were in a car accident and I had 2 broken vertebrae. And so I'm also reminded through that, having been very close to the possibility of being a paraplegic or tetraplegic, having no movement from the neck down, that my life could be very different, that I could be a talking vegetable. And so just being able to get out and do stuff is something that I'm really grateful for, because my life could have been so different. And when it gets hard, when my business isn't easy all the time, it's a lot of fun when it's going well, but when it goes wrong, it is hard.
Yeah.
And so I think to myself, what else would I be doing right now?
Yeah.
I've had minimum wage jobs that I've hated, but I've kept going back because I needed just enough money to pay my bills. And so if I wasn't doing this, what I would be doing, sounds a whole lot worse to me. So even when it's hard, it's better than what it would be if I wasn't doing it. And that takes me through the harder times, and the hope and the plans of growing bigger and what it could be.
So it's really the central theme, it seems to be, is like, it is valuing life and the treasure that you're bringing out, the treasure that's in each of us in your photos.
Yeah, definitely. And I think everyone's got their own hardships, and if you focus on that, that's all you'll see. But if you take the time to really show yourself all the good parts of life and the good parts of yourself, and you focus on that, that's just going to make everything a brighter place. And so, yeah, it really is about making people feel good about themselves, so that can help affect everything else that goes on.
And it's really seeing yourself through the lens of somebody else's perspective, isn't it? Through the lens of other people, because we're really good at looking in the mirror and not seeing it for ourselves. And yeah, and your photos really bring that out.
Oh, thank you. I have had clients who come to me and I ask them, you know, what do you want from this experience? And quite a few of them have said to me, I want to see what you see. I want to see what my husband sees. I want to see what my family sees. I don't see that. Show me what the world sees. Show me, make me believe the compliments. Make me believe I'm worthy. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really important, isn't it? Fantastic. Excellent. So, were you said that it was about a process of establishing, it was people that were you centered on. Have you ever been the other side of the camera yourself?
Yes. I have been
on the other side
a few times. I have worked with other photographers and we've created portraits for each other. For both business use in terms of professional headshots, etc. I've had professional portraits done of my extended family, including myself. I've been the model many times for other photographers who are doing something artistic or conceptual, so it wasn't a portrait in that sense, but they needed someone and I fit the bill, so I helped them out. And I have done more than my fair share. I've done an artist's share of self-portraits, I should say.
Right.
Because artists are good at self-portraits. And it makes me understand the vulnerability of being in front of the camera.
Right.
I really respect how anxious you can be when you are the centre of attention, or when the focus is all on you. You don't feel like the centre of attention, because that's a good term, but when you feel focused on and scrutinised and you can't, as the person being photographed, you've got little or no control over how you're being perceived. That's all that power is in the hands of the photographer.
Yeah.
So I'm acutely aware of being considerate and being really gentle with my clients. Although I direct them, as soon as I sense that they're uncomfortable, I'll change tact, ask them what to clarify, make sure I'm on the same path as them, and just make sure that this is the best photographic experience they've had, because there are so many bad experiences out there. And we are emotionally tied to the way we're seen and the way we're photographed, and making sure that that's a positive emotion.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what, apart from the portraits that you do, what dreams do you have for the future?
My dreams for the future. I'm very career focused at the moment, so I'd love to grow the business and make it bigger and get out there and help more people and become more successful and renowned as an artist within photography. I have quite a few ideas of different personal projects that I want to do, more on the conceptual art side of things, so more statement driven, less about the subject, more about the statement I'm trying to convey as the artist.
Give us an example. What sort of statement are you talking about? Well, when I was studying at university, a lot of the work that I did around conceptual art was confronting beauty. So it's still, I guess, in the similar realms of that, but it was more about what, as a society, what do we perceive as beautiful and why do we perceive it as that? What extremes do we go to conform to beauty and to really fit in, when it's all about a sense of belonging instead. So it's just making beautiful pieces that there are small details in the image that make you stop and think, this isn't what it looks like at first sight. Right.
And yeah, so I'm going to keep those ideas to myself, because I haven't had an opportunity.
So I can dig as much as I want, but I'm not going to get it out.
No, sorry.
No, I was thinking, because obviously the environment is really important to me, and it's really about our connection, what is important to us, and connecting us to that side of things, and seeing when you were talking of beauty, and I'm referring to when you were 5, when you were tearing out all these things out of National Geographic. It's actually all around us, and we can see it in everything else but in ourselves, but we are a part of that, and it's just tuning into what our level of beauty is, and being confident with that, as opposed to letting society tell us what is beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the natural side of things, isn't it?
I firmly believe everyone has their own type of beautiful.
Yeah.
So, you can't compare yourself to anyone else because they've got a different type of beautiful. So it is about finding your natural self, what you're comfortable, who you are, and that can change from day to day. So it's just embracing who you are.
Right, the internet went a bit funny then. Could you repeat that, because I didn't hear it?
That's okay. So yeah, it is about natural beauty. I firmly believe that everyone has their own type of beautiful, and that although so much of our subconscious is all about compare and compete, no one else has. Everyone's got a different type of beautiful. So your beautiful is not the same as the next person's, and everyone is unique in their own way, and that you should really embrace who you are, and that might change from day to day, but to be accepting and to be just to allow your natural self to come out, both externally and emotionally and verbally and aesthetically. So yeah, just embracing who you are.
And I was just thinking there of your father, although physically he looks different, he still is the same person inside. Can you see that through the lens of the camera? Or is it hard for you with your father to see, knowing the man he was, before the cancer got him to now?
He's still the same person.
Yeah.
Inside, yeah. And with his recovery, he came back to looking like the same person on the outside. From a child's point of view, I was just shocked because it was such a dramatic change so quickly.
Yeah.
And through the camera's point of view, what the main thought I had as a photographer was, I want to document this.
Yeah.
Because I want a memory of if the treatment didn't work, I want to remember him for the person he was, irrespective of the way he appeared at the time. So yeah, photography is a view to the soul in some respects, but it can also be completely contrived. So there's two sides to the coin.
And I think, as you said, that's a beautiful saying. It's a view to the soul, because you can strip away everything else, but you're actually that inner beauty, and that's the fact that you are an inner beauty basket. It really, really does come out in it. And you can't train someone to do that. It's you're either in touch with it or you're not really, and that's obviously your strength in bringing that out in people and giving people the experience, isn't it?
Oh, thank you. It's very kind. I have worked quite hard on being able to connect with people. I do a lot of personal development, reading, and listening to workshops and viewing things online. And I know that all the hard and the pain that I've been through just means that I can be empathetic to people when I can relate to what they're going through now and help them and say, look, I'm there with you. We'll go through this together. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Know that any of these troubles will only make you a stronger person. They're not going to define you unless you let them, unless that's all you focus on. So I really believe that any hard lessons are good lessons in the long run.
Absolutely. And so it's also, I think, with the photography side, rather than leaving it till a special moment, because every moment is a special moment. So it's maybe it's finding an excuse to go and have a professional photo done. But let that excuse be to get to allow other people to see you as you really are. in whatever place that you are. So rather than waiting to your 50th or your wedding or something like that, it's embracing that.
Yeah, there are so many reasons in life to take a photograph and create a memory, or a lasting inspiration for the memories, but don't put it off. I mean, because everyone changes so quickly. I mean, we say that kids grow up fast, but that's just because they're changing on the outside. But as people, our opinions, our thoughts, our emotions change so quickly that you should take the opportunity, take a day out for yourself, a mental health day. Come in and make the most of it and really enjoy it. And I get a lot of clients who just want something natural that looks like they do every day. And I get a lot of other clients who are like, I don't do this often, or I've never done it before. I want to make the most of it. I want to step outside my comfort zone and really embrace this thing that I've always wanted to do but never thought I could. So we've either done something really, really glamorous when they're usually in, jeans and a t-shirt, or we can even do something more boudoir if they want, along the lines of getting in touch with their sensual side and that sort of thing as well. So it's just about taking the opportunity, because it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, so it's bringing out, because in everyday life we're so busy doing stuff, and there's a lot of different parts to ourselves, as you say, the sensual side of ourselves. We don't get that opportunity, and it's not just about within the bedroom walls sort of thing, as it's expressing that female energy, isn't it, in whatever way, and seeing. It makes your eyes light up. I've seen a couple of the photos that you've done of people, and there's a new film out. I don't know if it's called Embrace Every Body, and the body word is in big, and it's beautiful. There's a range of women in all shapes and sizes, and when you looking from the outside, you're not actually judging the shape of that body. You know that it's not the certain size or figure or anything else like that. It's the laughter, it's the experience, the energy that you're getting from it. It's fantastic, isn't it? Mm.
Yeah, definitely. It's the energy that's coming from the inside. Yeah.
And so when you look back now to when you had the car accident, how long were you actually in that accident? Your recovery period, I mean.
It's all very foggy, being that I was only 4 years old. But from what I've been told from my parents, the recovery period was about 9 months.
Wow.
So the first 2 weeks was in hospital, just because I needed to be as stationary as possible in order to support the spinal column. And then afterwards I had the full metal brace. So I was very lucky. I didn't have to have a halo.
Right.
But I had the metal neck brace for a few months, and then that was reduced down to a foam neck brace. But for years I had restricted movement, or I would get sore necks, or I'd get headaches because the muscles had been traumatized as well as the spine. But in the long run, emotionally, it meant that when I did I did do things sporting, or I did things that was really active activities that I'd never thought I could do, the sense of achievement was overwhelming. I mean, being incredibly proud of yourself for doing something that you never dreamed that you could do was something that I think hit home a lot more than it might have done had I never had a physical ailment like that. So
yeah, and I think that is celebrating your own achievements, because the rest of the world doesn't know that, but every cell in your body has an emotional memory around that. And the fact that whatever the small steps that you've taken, even if it's running like 100 meters or whatever, it's absolutely huge. And being in touch with yourself and actually feeling that comes out, doesn't it?
It does. Are you thinking of being in touch with myself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, being in touch with yourself and knowing that you're not perfect, but that's what it should be, as well as having suffered a broken neck. I've also been a large person. When I was in high school, I was the kid that always had the parents write a note to get out of sports. So I've been between a size 16. When I went to university, I got into the gym and enjoying that, and I ended up shrinking down to a size 6, and I don't recommend either of them to be healthy. So I feel that I can relate to people who are on their own weight loss journey, or who are conscious about how they look or how tight their clothes are. And I mean, from day to day, all women, you know, we compare to those people we see on the covers of magazines, and we keep coming up short in our own eyes. And I just want to show people that there's no difference between you and them. And the style of my photography is very much similar to magazine covers, and that the only difference between them and the average lady on the street is that they've had someone do their hair and makeup. They've been styled and told what to wear and how to stand, and then they've been photographed by a professional photographer. And when I have the opportunity to do that to an everyday lady, she will look like she's just stepped out of the cover of the magazine, and she will feel like she's that good. So...
And I think it's really important.
Yeah, it's about getting in touch with.
No, I think it's lovely the fact that you have been both extremes. You know, you have been a size 16 and you've been a size 6, and
yeah,
it's both sides of trying to fit in. And obviously the weight that you gained was, and in your teenage years, that would have been absolutely horrendous, I can imagine, and all the bullying side of things as well.
I wasn't. A lot of things were going through my teenage years, so bullying was never something that I dwelled on, but I always felt that I was never good enough for myself. Like, my self-criticism was probably more stronger than anything external. But at that point, I didn't have any knowledge about nutrition and exercise. I didn't know what I should be doing, what was healthy, what was normal, and how to go about and actually become healthy and have a good diet. So that a lot of that was sort of self-taught, which is why once I got to university, I then learned, and then stress-related was why I dropped too much weight. But like even now, I've got cellulite from the ankles up. I've got
Oh, this is
stretch mine is still the exact same person.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And so it really doesn't matter. And I think, and I recommend when this film comes out, I'm not quite sure when it's going to hit the screens, but I think you'll find a real connection to it. And I just think it's amazing the fact that you have been through so much yourself, that you're using your experiences to help other people feel good, you know, and actually doing something that was inside you when you were a child. So you've obviously never questioned your career.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
I question my career all the time. I still do. Because I believe things change so quickly. My career, I know I always want to do something artistic, whether I wanted to do that professionally or whether it was just going to remain a hobby and do something I did in my downtime, is something I question, because the creative industry isn't seen as the most profitable industry. So as a business owner, to go out into the creative field, I personally saw it as a bit more risky than perhaps I should take. So
a job type thing. Were you advised?
Yeah, no ART, do the JOB.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've done other jobs. I've spent all the way, from the beginning of high school onwards, I did part-time hospitality. I've done retail. I've done full-time tourism for 3 years. I've done all those customer service side businesses. But nothing ever made me really, really happy. To me, it was always a temporary job. It wasn't a long-term thing. And so when I see photography and whenever I think of myself in this business, this is a career, where they were just jobs to pay the bills, to fill in until I found something better. Yeah. And now I've found something better. So
awesome. So what advice would you give your childhood self, knowing what you know now, that would help her?
My advice to myself would be dream big. Dream bigger, and then dream huge. Because whenever I set a goal for myself, it would be always something mediocre, and then in hindsight I would achieve it and go, well, you could have done so much more, why don't you push harder, or aim bigger. So it would be, aim really, really big, keep going, and everything's a lesson, whether it's a success or whether it's a failure. Everything is a lesson, and although it might seem really hard at the time, hold on to it, because you'll be able to help someone else and inspire someone else who will be going through the same thing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. There's pearls of wisdom within that, not only for the inner beauty, but for us to reflect and bring it out in other people. So thank you so much for your time, Sarah. Much appreciated. All the best. Take care. Bye.